David Lind, the Director of Fire and Rescue Services for the City of Vernon, British Columbia, and I've been with the department for 8 years now. Recently, the City of Vernon and Lake Country have entered into a mutual aid agreement to share resources when either local government is running short on resources. So these agreements allow us to support one another, and they provide the framework that's required to do that all in a legal framework. We have had in the region over the last several years several fast-growing and quick-moving wildfires in West Kelowna, Lake Country, and Vernon in 2023 experienced a White Rock Lake fire that was right up against our boundaries. So those are certainly a catalyst for the conversations and for entering into the agreement. The other thing that's happened in British Columbia recently is through the Emergency Disaster and Management Act, there's been a whole modernization of the emergency program framework. And it really encourages inter-regional cooperation. This was a really good time to formalize the partnership because these two departments have worked together cooperatively over the years. And now with the new Emergency Management Disaster Act in place, this modernization and also this increased frequency of events like wildfires that can be quick moving, we're just seeing a need to formalize these things and get them in place. In the day-to-day, the community won't experience much of a difference in the services delivered. Where there's a real impact is for that surge capacity, those incidents that require a lot of resources really quickly. And so that's when you're really going to see the significance of the agreements in place. The cooperation always happened, but now it can happen a little more quickly and will be a little more organized, and that structure and framework is soundly in place. One of the ones, especially this time of year, that come top of mind are wildfires, for sure. Those are absolutely one type of event that could do it. The other types of events could be large structure fires. You imagine a healthcare facility or a senior's home where there's a need for a lot of resources and a lot of rescue. Those could be triggers. Or in the event that one of the communities ends up losing some of its capacity, maybe a fire engine's broken down or a ladder truck isn't working, and so now you've got the neighbor you can call on and for help. There won't be much of an impact on initial response times because of the agreement. Again, that is really the surge capacity where it's going to have an impact. Where there's a large event and we need a lot of resources quickly, and so we can call our neighbor and say, hey, can you send me some fire engines? Can you send me some people? And then that help is on the way really quickly. I think for residents in both Vernon and in Lake Country is the departments, when they work together, will have an improved level of coordination, if you will. And that's a major thing. So our radio frequencies have been figured out. Some of the training aspects that are important to work seamlessly together have been considered, and that surge capacity, that ability to call on additional resources really quickly, that's really a big deal. This agreement won't have much impact on the day-to-day type calls. Where it's going to have the biggest impact is the large-scale events like a wildfire or a mass casualty incident, or something that's multi-jurisdictional, something that's crossing boundaries where we need to come together and work in a unified command structure. That is the plan, is that there will be some annual tabletops, reviews of work practices, and we are training to a lot of the same standards. So that makes it easier for the firefighters to kind of plug in and play into a different jurisdiction if they get called away. Right, so during the emergency, formal communications will come through the authority having jurisdiction. So if it's in Vernon, the Vernon Fire Services or the City of Vernon representatives will be the lead communicator. And likewise, if the event is in Lake Country, all those communications would defer to Lake Country. This agreement fits into our broader emergency preparedness strategy really well. So it fits in alongside other mutual aid agreements with other fire departments, and what it does is helps us to expand the resources we have. So as an example, today we have 2 staffed fire engines on duty in the city. If we had a major event, I could call on fire engines from around the region really quickly so that I could add to our strength, as well as calling back additional firefighters off duty. Through Emergency Management Disaster Act, there are definitely provisions for expanding regional cooperation through these types of agreements. So they can be expanded on, they could evolve over time as well. Yeah. I think one of the things I'd really like the public to take away from this agreement is that it's an example of agreements that are held throughout British Columbia, and there's a high level of cooperation between British Columbia's fire departments. That's so important. We're municipal services or local government services, and we have to work together effectively in order to deal with emergencies that cross borders and overwhelm any one municipality's resources. I would recommend that if you're living in British Columbia, stay plugged in to FireSmart British Columbia, FireSmart Canada. Lots of great resources on the websites, and really do your part to make your property more resilient to the impacts of wildfire and ember shower. My message to the community about this agreement and the collaboration, the agreement really is an example of collaboration across municipalities. And my message is that it's so important that we work together to overcome emergencies and disasters. In the mitigation, in the response, and in the recovery, we need to work together, and it's a whole of community approach required in order to have good outcomes. And I feel really positive about that. Canada, it's one of the most resilient countries, I think, in the world, and this is just another a small example of that type of collaboration that happens on the day-to-day. We work with Lake Country Fire Department on a somewhat regular basis, probably 1 or 2 times a year for major events. Often they are events that are occurring on our borders or our boundaries where the communities abut to one another. For example, along Commonage Road between the 2 communities. And we have had those events where we have lightning strikes and multiple fires starting because of the lightning strikes. And in those events, you don't necessarily know what the address is, so you don't know whose area it's in. So we end up coming together and working together in those types of scenarios, probably on an annual basis. Chief Lee's a wonderful person, a talented leader, and a trusted colleague. So there's an excellent relationship there and a lot of trust. Just the last message I think to the community is it's important that we're aware, that we're alert, that we do proactive things to be prepared for emergencies ahead of time, before they come. And then we can't live in fear. This is a beautiful, beautiful area that we live in, and we're just blessed to be here. So a little bit of preparedness on the front end, and then relax and enjoy the Okanagan summer.
Thanks.